I'm Michael Port, and I wrote a bunch of books. One of them is called Book Yourself Solid.
So, what do you recommend for Latin community in the U.S. to be success?
Well, I mean, entrepreneurial success is not necessarily different from one community to another. There's some foundational elements. We all need to develop a product that is very unique, it's a great story that people really want, so on and so forth. But different communities, it seems to me, will have a different perception of how they relate to being an entrepreneur. So a lot of it is the mindset. So if you come, say you've come to the country, and you're coming to the country to be an entrepreneur, you have this predisposition to stepping into that role. Because often the way we see ourselves is the way others see us.
Exactly.
Right? And so, I mean, there's, no matter what kind of recession.
There is no particular advice.
Well, no, but we still are the land of opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily something very different, except that this. Generally, we're successful when other people support what we're doing. And it's the community that is around us that supports us. Whether it's a community based on cultural background, whether it's a community based on regional background, religious background, whatever it is, it's the community around us. So if we surround ourselves with a kind of community that wants to support what we're doing, it helps us to move forward. But if you're surrounded by people who keep saying, you can't do that, you can't do that, you don't speak English well, you can't do that, you don't do this, you don't have the education, you don't have whatever, well then you're not going to be very encouraged to do it.
It's going to be more difficult.
Exactly. So I think, those are often the things that we need to consider right off the bat. How do we see ourselves in relation to being an entrepreneur in this country? And if we have any doubt, I mean, we're always nervous. I mean, there's a lot of risk involved.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we have deep-seated doubt about whether we can do it because we're from another place, and we really have to work on that, I think, even before we start, investing our resources into building some sort of business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And what kind of tools do you have for the entrepreneurs?
Kind of what?
Tools. What tools do you have?
Yeah. You mean in terms of the books that I've written?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Book Yourself Solid is a wonderful book if you want to get clients. Okay. Beyond Book Solid is a wonderful book if you want to take a business that is already doing well and grow it so that it's much more leverageable, much more scalable. So you really develop the systems that allow you to continue to grow it.
Perfect.
Because you hit a ceiling sometimes, you go, well, what's next?
Exactly.
But then I wrote a book called The Contrarian Effect. And the subtitle of the book is Why It Pays Big to Take Typical Sales Advice and Do the Opposite. And then I wrote another book called The Think Big Manifesto. And that's a book about thinking bigger about who you are and what you offer the world. The subtitle is Think You Can't Change the World and Your Life. Think You Can.
And your website?
michaelport.com.
Perfect. Emprendete Latino.
Emprendete Latino.